No way! That's great!
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Mo Hunt Silver. This is going to be another penny hunt and fill episode, and we are up to episode number 30 of trying to fill these albums right here. And we do have 226 spots of the possible 287 filled. This will be boxes 58 and 59 of the series, and both of these boxes do have 2 wheat cent enders within the rolls here. And unfortunately, all 4 enders that are showing are reverse facing, so don't know what years they are, but we'll find out once we open the rolls. And I think we'll get into box number 58 in just a second here, but we're going to be looking for, obviously, wheat cents, any kind of mint errors, proofs, foreigns, I guess, yeah, anything else cool like that. Be checking for varieties and all kinds of great things. But yeah, let's get into it. And like the video if you guys like the content, and subscribe if you're new. But I'll see you in just a second with a find, hopefully. And I think we'll do this in 5 roll increments. So I'll hunt 5 rolls and be back with the finds from those 5 rolls. And right there you can see in row 2, we're going to have one of our wheat cent enders in box number 58. So, all right, let's get into it. All right, guys, I have rolls 1 through 5 hunted now, and we did find a few things. I'll start off with our top one here, which is a 1982 out of Canada. So we do have a foreign on the board. And then I came across 6 examples of the 2025 Philadelphia Shield Cent, which these are the first ones that I found in circulation so far. So that is sweet. And these things are also selling for a lot of money on eBay if you have a full box of them. All right. And then to top it off in these first 5 rolls, we found a first year wheat cent 1909 Philadelphia. Now, they did make a regular 1909 Philadelphia and also a VDB version, which the VDB, if it had it, and this one does not, would be right down here on the bottom in very small letters. But that's sweet. I'll definitely take this one, and I believe we need this for the album as well. So that's awesome. All right, we'll move on to rolls 6 through 10. Rolls 6 through 10 are going to give us a few more finds. We did find 2 more 2025 Philadelphias, both in really good shape. Then we found a second foreign, and this is actually going to be an older one. Canada again, but this time we're going to have a 1940 King George VI. It's not in horrible shape either. So that's pretty cool. And then we also found 2 wheat cents, a 1948 Philadelphia. And then this one here was our ender that was reverse facing, and it's a 1951 Denver. All right, so not bad. We'll move on to the next set of 5. Rolls 11 through 15 are now hunted. And these rolls are going to give us 1 more wheat cent, which will be a 1957 out of Denver. Pretty common, but that'll now put us up to 4 wheat cents. And then we also found 3 more 2025 Philadelphias. So that'll now put us up to 11 of those. All right, so we can move on to rolls number 16 through 20. Let's see what we can get out of these 5 rolls. Rolls 16 through 20 are going to give us 5 more finds, and 4 of them are going to be the 2025 Philadelphia. So that'll now put us up to 15 of those found in this box so far. And then we also found another wheat cent, a 1954 out of Philadelphia. And this will now put us up to 5 wheat cents in the box. All right, we'll move on to rolls 21 through 25. Rolls 21 through 25 will give us 2 more finds. One of them is going to be a foreign 1992 from the Bahamas with the starfish. And then our 6th wheat cent is going to be a 1946 out of Philly. All right, and that'll now put us halfway through the box. And we can start the second half. Rolls 26 through 30. Rolls 26 through 30 are going to give us a few more finds on the mat here. We did find 4 more total of the 2025 Philadelphias. So that'll now put us up to 15 out of this box. We did find 2 wheat cents, a 1956 Philadelphia that's kind of beat up, and a 1946 again, Philadelphia. And then also another foreign. We were able to pull a 1981 out of Canada. All right, not bad. Well, we'll keep on moving to the next 5 rolls. The next 5 rolls are going to give us 3 more 2025s. And I misspoke in the last clip where we actually have 19, not 15. So this will now put us up to 22 of the 2025 examples. And then we also did find our 9th wheat cent of the box. And that's going to be a 1945 Philadelphia that is pretty worn, pretty slick. All right, keep moving through rolls 36 through 40. Rolls 36 through 40 will give us another 6 finds. We're going to have another 3 2025 Philadelphias. So that'll now put us up to 25. So that's about a half a roll's worth so far. And then we have another 3 wheat cents, which this will now put us up to a dozen. And we still have 10 rolls to go. But we have 2 1957 Denvers and a harder to find 1958 Philly. So it's not bad. We have 10 more rolls to go. I'm just hoping we can find a variety of some kind in these last 10 rolls. Rolls 41 through 45 are now hunted. And guys, these rolls gave us 2 more 2025 Philadelphias, putting us now up to 27. And then 3 more wheat cents, one of them being a 1957 Philly. And then a pre-1940, we have a 1939 Philadelphia and a very low minted, and one I've never found before in any of my coin roll hunts. But we're going to have, if it's going to focus, that's going to be a 1915 out of Denver. That is a pretty rare penny and one we don't normally see. But there you can see it, 1915. So that'll definitely be a book filler as well. So I believe that's going to be 3 spots we're going to fill in the book from just this one box. That is sweet. Awesome. The last 5 rolls of box number 58 are going to give us 3 more finds. We will have 1 more 2025 Philadelphia, and then 2 more wheat cents, the 1944 out of Philly, and a pretty dirty and cruddy 1956 out of Denver. So I will get everything together for box number 58 and do a quick wrap up, and we'll move on to box number 59. All right, guys, I'm back for the wrap up of box number 58. This was actually a very, very good box. We didn't find like a whole bunch of wheat cents like we did in our last penny hunt, but a few of these wheat cents that we found, and foreigns, I'm going to say too, are pretty good ones that I have right down here that I'll cover at the end of this wrap up. But we did find a total of 28 of the brand new 2025 Philadelphia Lincoln Cents. We did find 5 2009s altogether, most of them being the professional life design, with one presidency right there. We did find a total of 4 foreigns, which I'll cover the one at the end, but we had 3 Canadians, 1981 and 1982, and then the last one I'll cover at the end. And then we had a 1992, I believe this was, from the Bahamas, which is awesome. And then as far as our wheat cents go, we did have 17 total, and 15 of them are right here. But we had 9 from the 50s, 5 from the 40s, 1 from the 30s, being in 1939. And then the finds of this box are going to be this right here in 1940. King George VI, Canadian quarter, Canadian quarter. Canadian penny right there, Canadian cent. And then our 2 pre-1920s even wheat cents, and are both going to be book fillers as well, but we found a 1909 Philadelphia, not the VDB unfortunately, but we'll still definitely take that. And then a 1915 out of Denver, which is a fairly low minted cent right there, and we needed that one for the book as well. And then as far as copper goes, get our scale turned on, and we are going to have roughly 3 pounds 1 ounce, I'll say, right there. So not bad. I'll take that as well. So yeah, we'll move on to box number 59. This one also has 2 enders in it, and one of them is right there. And where is the second one? Second one's right here in this corner. So let's get into it and see what we can find in this box. The first 5 rolls of box number 59 are going to start us off with 2 finds. We will have a foreign. We have another Canadian penny here from 1974 as I drop it. Doesn't look too bad. And then we have a wheat cent, 1951 out of Philly, that has got rim damage all the way around it. Kind of strange, but we'll take it. And we'll move on to rolls 56 through 60 of the hunt. Rolls 56 through 60 were a little light. We're only going to have 1 find, and that's going to be a 1945 out of Philadelphia wheat cent. So that'll now give us 2 wheat cents for the box, and we can move on to rolls 61 through 65. Rolls 61 through 65 are only going to give us 1 more wheat cent. We have a 1948 Philadelphia that is actually not in bad shape as I drop it again. But that has a lot of detail in the hair still. And there is just a little bit of copper trying to show through on the reverse. Well, that might be an upgrade for the book. But we'll have to see at the end. All right, we can move on to the next 5 rolls. I had to bring you guys in on this one. We're hunting through roll number 70 of the hunt, or roll number 20 of box 59. And check this out, guys. In 1991, it's a Philadelphia, and it's got a CUD. Pretty decent sized one, too. In and G-O of God are missing because that piece of the die that struck that coin right there has broken off, and it leaves that cavity, I guess you could call it, in the die. And then when it stamps the coin, it leaves a blank spot just like that. So that is pretty cool. And there should be some weakness, maybe a little bit. Yeah, there is a little bit of weakness right down here on the reverse side. Just a little bit. That's pretty sweet. Take that for sure. All right. Keep hunting the rest of this roll, and I'll be right back with a recap. I got rolls 66 through 70 hunted, and it's going to give us 5 more finds, 4 of them being wheat cents. We have a 1938 out of Philadelphia, 1941 out of Philly, not any of the DDOs because I did check it under the microscope. We have a 1949 Philly with a little bit of corrosion and water damage, and then a 1953 out of Denver. And then the find out of this set is going to be the 1991 with little cut up here. And on CUDs on coins, it's going to be CUD number CU 1 cent 1991-02. And right there you can see what it looks like on the website. And that's going to be an exact match for what I have right here. So that's pretty cool. Don't really know what this is going to be worth or is worth, but it's definitely more than a penny. All right, so we'll move on to rolls 71 through 75. And looks like roll number 74 does have an ender. Rolls 71 through 75 will give us a few more wheat cents for our wheat cent tally. We're going to have 3 of them here. We got a 1940 out of Philadelphia, a 1947 out of Philadelphia, and a 1956 out of Philly. So that'll now put us up to, I believe, 10 wheat cents for this box. And we still have 25 rolls to go. Rolls 76 through 80 will give us 2 more wheat cents. We are going to have an oldie, 1925, out of Philly. It's honestly not too bad for being 100 years old. Definitely take that. And then we also found a 1949 out of Philly as well. All right. Rolls 81 through 85 will be another decent set of rolls. We got 3 finds in total. We're going to have our second foreign for this box, 1981 out of Canada. And then 2 more wheat cents, 1942 Philly, right there. And a decent condition, 1945 Philly. All right. We'll move on to the next set. Rolls 86 through 90 of the hunt will give us 2 more wheat cents. That's going to now put us up to 15 for this box. And our first one is up here. You have a decent condition, 1945. That does not look bad. It still has a lot of copper color. This thing is almost uncirculated, I'd say. Pretty nice there. And our second one is 1957 out of Denver. All right, we'll move on to the next 5 rolls and see what we can find. Rolls 91 through 95 are only going to give us 1 find, but it is going to be a foreign, and it's going to be an older foreign at that. 1956 out of Canada, right there. Pretty sweet. Add it over here to our other 2 Canadian pennies. All right, now we can see what the last 5 rolls of this box has to offer. We do have a wheat cent ender right there. It's reverse facing, so we'll have to see what the year of it is once we get into the roll. All right, guys, our ender cent in the last row, ender wheat cent, is going to be the only find out of all 5 rolls. So we can add that up here, and I'll be right back with a wrap-up for box number 59. All right, guys, we're back for the wrap-up of box number 59 of the series. And again, we had another pretty good box here. We got quite a few finds up on the board. and on the desk here as well. One of them being really good, but I'll get into what we got. You can see we have a total of 3 Canadian cents out of this box. We also did get a total of 3 2009s, 2 of them being formative years and another presidency. Then we got a total of, what is this, 16, 17 wheat cents. Oldest one being from the 20s, and that's going to be a 1925, so that'll make that one 100 years old. And then we found 11 from the 40s and 5 from the 50s right here. Don't look too bad. And then the find of this box is going to be our 1991 with the CUD mint error right there. You can see a little bit of weakness on the reverse. That's pretty cool. That's a sweet mint error right there. I love finding CUDs. But let's see what we got for copper now. Get the scale up here. Get her turned on. And place our copper jar. And we're going to have 3 pounds, and I'll say about 11 ounces. So that's a considerable amount more than the first box of the video. But that's awesome. It's a lot of copper again. It's got some weight to it. But all right, I'll be right back with a full wrap up for this hunt. Hey guys, I'm back for the wrap up of Penny Hunt and Phil, number 30 for the series. And this was another very, very good set of boxes, I would say. Look at all the finds we have on the mat here. And also 6 3/4 pounds of copper out of both of those boxes. That's not bad. Pretty, I guess it's a little above average for my area on copper. We did find a total of 28 2025 Philadelphias. So that is sweet. Those are the first 28 that I have found so far in circulation in my area. We did find a total of 8 2009s. We're just missing the log cabin design there. And then we did find a total of 6 Canadian cents and 1 from Barbados. And then I'll get into our wheat cents. We got a total of 34 wheat cents altogether. We have 1 from the 20s, 1 from the 30s. I believe it's 16 from the 40s, and then 14 from the 50s. And then the finds of this hunt are these 4 cents right down here on the bottom of the mat. And here is our 6th Canadian. We had a King George VI, 1940. Nice oldie right there. And then we had 2 pre-20s wheat cents, 1909 Philly, and also a harder to find 1915 out of Denver. And both of these are needed for the book, as well as one of these 2025s, which I will pull the nicer one out of these 28 that I have found, and we'll be putting that in the book. And then we found our 1 mint error, the 1991 CUD that you can see right there. That is pretty awesome. But that's going to do it for the wrap up. Now we just have one thing to do for our video still, and that is to plug in our additions and see if we have any upgrades from our bright and shinies that I've pulled out and set aside right here. So I'll be right back as soon as I have our additions or upgrades put in the book. Here's a good look at all the albums so far. Only hunting 59 boxes of pennies. And this is what we have found so far out there in circulation. A lot of nice ones in here. And we have found quite a few dates. All the way back to 1909. And that is going to be our first and oldest edition for today's hunt, is the 1909 Philadelphia right there. And then our second oldest edition for today's hunt is going to be a harder to find and lesser minted 1915 Denver. And then our last edition for today's hunt is the brand new 2025, Philadelphia. We still need the Denver, but I'm sure we'll come across one soon. And then we had one upgrade in today's hunt, and that is the 1948 Philadelphia, which this is the one that was in the spot. And you can see today's looks a lot nicer and has a bit more detail. So that'll now put us up to 229 spots out of the 287 possible to fill in all four of these albums here. That is pretty sweet. And we've got a couple that are really hard to find in here, like the 22 Denver right there. That is a semi-key date, very tough scent to find out in circulation. But I'm very happy with the way these albums are coming out so far and what we've found so far in our hunts. And if you guys are enjoying it, please give the video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. I always appreciate any new subscribers that I get. And yeah, we're going to get out of here. This was another great hunt. All right, thanks for watching, guys. And we'll see you on the next one.